Okay, so what I want to do, let's suppose we have another person constructor that takes their, what do you want to take? You want to take all three things, or you want to just take a name? What do you want?
All three.
Public person, string, first name, string, last name, string, thank you, int, age. All right, and we'll say first gets F name, last gets L name, and age gets...
Can you use another variable for age?
I could use another one, but I want to show you that I can also do this, right?
Yes, you can.
Okay? So there's this. Let's suppose for a moment that I did not have this default constructor. Okay? So the only constructor I asked you to write for person was this one. Everybody good with me so far? Let me compile this. Person will compile fine, right? But when I go to compile book author, even if I get rid of the super call here, if I compile this, it says, hang on, I couldn't use the default constructor, right? I tried to use my default super and I couldn't, right? Because it always calls super even though you should explicitly do it. And if I say that, it'll give me an error and say you can't do it, right? So what do I need to do? I need to give it a first name, a last name, and an age. So I need to say run super, and my first name is Harry, and my last name is Potter, and my age is 16. Okay? And if I do that, then I am running the superclass methods, right? So now if I compile this, right? So every book author defaults to being Harry Potter 16. That's a bit crazy. Let's make it unknown, unknown. Right. And unknown. Right. Now, suppose that, yeah, question. Okay. Suppose that I now want to set the name, the first name of this person, right? So let's see. Suppose I want to have a method that, well, if I want to set the first name of this, that's not a problem. There's already a set first name inside a person, right? I believe. Did we do that?
Yeah.
So I could just run it. So if I compile this, and I compile book author, everybody's happy. If I make a new book author, and I inspect it, on the video you may not see the inspection windows. I have a feeling these things hide. It says the first name and last name are unknown. Notice, by the way, that when I inspect book author, it actually tells me about the fields that I can't actually access from the class, right? So I can't set book author. I can't set the last name from the book author class, only from the person class, right? However, it shows me all the fields anyway. But if I want to run set name, look at this. I don't have any methods of my own, but I did inherit a method from person called set last name. So I could set my last name now to be Potter, Poiter, right? And now if I inspect, the last name is Potter because it called the superclasses one, right? It looked at mine and then looked at theirs. Travis.
For example, say you have a person class, then a student class, and then underneath that.
Did Blue Jay just crash? I think it did. Yeah, okay, go on.
Like a PhD student after student.
Yeah.
What would you put in the PhD student?
Well, you have to, if you always have to say super, and that calls the parent class, if you're talking about the constructor or whatever, right? You can also do things like, let's do the following, right? Let's suppose that we have a, let's write a, in the person class, I'm going to write a getName method, okay, and getName returns a string, right? And let's say that in this one we want to return, you know, first plus space plus last. right? So get, let's say get full name, right? You good? And let's suppose that in book author, we now, for some bizarre reasons, people don't have genders, but book authors do. So private Boolean gender is female is a variable. Most book authors are female, so we'll default to gender is female. You win when you get me for professor, or you lose. All right, so, okay, so we got this thing, all right? You good? And now let's suppose that I want to have a get full name method here that says either Mr. or Ms., right? Okay. So let's write public string get full name. If I don't write a get full name method, then it'll jump up and use the parents one. But if I write one, mine will override the parents one. At this point, I can choose to call the parents one if I want to. Okay? And I want to because I want to say Mr. Harry Potter or Ms. Harry Potter or whatever it is, right? And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, let's see, string answer. Answer equals super dot get full name. Run my parents get full name method, whatever it returns, put into answer, right? And now if gender is female, yeah, then I'm going to return Ms. plus answer. Else, I'm going to return Mr. plus answer. Right?
The gender is female is true.
It could be, but you know what? If goes into the if the contents of the if are true. And since it's a Boolean, that means if this equals true, yeah.
Okay.
As long as it says equals true. So this is the same as equals true, and I did it deliberately so you'd ask me that question. Yeah, Eric.
Do you have constructor where it's like it has a parameter and then you call super?
So sorry, so you want a parameter with a constructor that calls super, right? Well, so here, right, oh, you want to, okay, well, so let's do that. So let's do that. So let's have two of them, right? So here's another one, book author, and we're going to say it takes a string first, a string last, and an int age, all right? And we will run super on first, last, and age, right? And I suppose we could say first, last, age is female, right? And we will run super on first, last, and age. Num books is 0, num awards is 0, and gender is female gets is female.
So we need parameter.
We do. Okay? So let's compile this. Right? And now that's it. So if we run, if we make a new person who is Hermione Granger, and she is also 16, and she is female, right? If we look at the book author, it's all got filled in properly, right? And you may not see this on the video again, because the video may not show it, Eric.
So when you're calling super in the subclass constructor, it's like you're just using the
Right, so super in a constructor means call the above constructor. Super dot something means call this method from above.
you have to use when you have like extends, you have to use them.
You have to always use super in your constructor. You may choose to use super in anything else.
Okay.
But in constructors, you have to, yeah. And strictly speaking, legally, you do not have to. Legally, Java will put it in if you don't, but both the book and me say, for my class, you should write it out so you remember it's there, specifically so you remember it will happen in this case. Travis, give me half a second so that I can just show you guys that if I now get full name from this particular book author, it says Ms. Hermione Granger, right? So I put the Ms. on there, so it ran both. And the video might be too long, so let me stop the video.